Hello students, welcome for today's e-learning session of Shri Children Primary School, Standard 5th, and subject of the day is Social Science. My dear students, today we are going to start the 5th chapter of our syllabus, which deals with history. Okay, so our history starts from here exactly. So what is the title? The British Raj and the Revolt of 1857. So here we will study about the how British have entered our country and what did they do and why freedom was so much needed. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we will study the objectives of this chapter. What is the motive behind studying this chapter? So first one is to make children aware of first war of independence. It means it is the way of creating awareness among the children. So, what is the first war of independence? About what is the first war of independence? And second, to make children acquire the knowledge. Knowledge आपको मिलना चाहिए about the causes. Causes means the reasons behind. What are the reasons behind and consequences means its result. आपको क्या मिला उसके बाद? Of the revolt of 1857. 1857 में जो revolt हुआ, revolt means a way to change. Then to make children differentiate between the condition of India before and after independence. आपके इंडिया हमारी कंट्री की क्या कंडीशन थी बिफोर इंडिपेंडेंस, नाउ आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस व्हाट इज द कंडीशन ऑफ इंडिया. So we can differentiate. Okay, so let's begin with the chapter. So these are some of the events that led to the revolt. Revolt means fight for the change, for the freedom. So what events have taken places? First one was the Indian trade. The Indians used to trade with the Arab and European countries in the past. Then formation of East India Company by the British. How it has taken place, then decline of Mughal Empire and battles won by the British. There were many battles which have taken places for our freedom struggle. But many of the battles are won by the British. Why? How? That we are going to understand in detail. And last is anger against the British. Anger of the Indians. Indians were too angry with the British because they were not happy with their working system. So let's begin. So what happened? India used to trade with Arab and European countries as it was the rich country. It was called as Sone ki Chiriya, the golden bird. Okay, and soon the first European country was the Portuguese. Vasco da Gama, who reached India. पहले जो होता था इंडिया का ट्रेड, इट वाज डन ऑन द लैंड ओनली. ओके, मतलब लैंड ट्रांसपोर्ट से ही जितना पॉसिबल हो सकता था उतना ही हम ट्रेड कर पाते थे. बट soon Vasco da Gama has found the sea route to India. He landed first of all in Kerala. Okay, वो Calicut पे land हुआ and we started trading there. First European country was the Portuguese, and then it was followed by Dutch, French and British. They also started trading with India. अभी क्या हुआ? ये चारों countries India से trade कर रही थी, mainly in spices, in textiles and handicraft, many things, gold was there. So they wanted a monopoly. Monopoly means एक ही जन को बहुत सारा बिजनेस करना है. Monopoly in trade. Monopoly means एक ही का राज चलना चाहिए. So this led to a fight, which was won by the British. आपस में चारों countries ने fight किया and the fight was won by British. So British has started trading in more quantity with India. In the year 1600, British formed the East India Company. अब British में इतना strong हो गया था that it has started its own East India Company where in our country, in India. Let's see what happened then. Even British had observed that there are several fights among the Indian kings. Okay, आपने पढ़ा होगा कि इंडियन किंग्स जो थे आपस में लड़ते थे, एक्वायर देयर ओन टेरिटरी, ओन देयर ईच अदर्स टेरिटरी एंड किंगडम। हर किसी को अपनी रीजन बढ़ाना था, अपना किंगडम बढ़ाने के लिए वो लोग दूसरे किंग्स पे अटैक करते थे। सो ब्रिटिश हैड कम टू नो अबाउट दिस एंड दे हैड टेकन द एडवांटेज आल्सो। वो क्या करते थे, डिवाइड एंड रूल वाली पॉलिसी हमारे साथ चलती थी। आपको पता है यूनाइटेड वी स्टैंड एंड otherwise we will fall, right? So here also the same technique they have used कि जब तक इंडिया यूनाइटेडली वर्क करेगी we are not getting any profit, so they started taking the advantage of divide and rule because of the fight of the Indian kingdoms and increased their control over India, and this way they has increased their control over Indian people. Increasing control led to wars between British and Indian kings. अभी इतना ज़्यादा वो इंटरफेरेंस करने लगे, इतना ज़्यादा कंट्रोल करने लगे, so it created war between the Indian kings and the British kings. The first major battle was won by British. जो पहला war हुआ था वो तो ब्रिटिश जीत गए, that is the Battle of Plassey. Was the Battle of Plassey in 1757. अब यहाँ तो ब्रिटिश जीत गए, जो हार गया उसकी कंडीशन तो ऑलरेडी वर्स हो जाती है। ऑलरेडी इंडिया की कंडीशन बहुत खराब थी और हार के बाद और भी खराब होती गई। लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस नाउ। व्हाट आर द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस? कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस मींस द रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट वॉर, द बैटल ऑफ प्लेसी। फर्स्ट वन वाज द बैड ट्रेडिंग प्रैक्टिसेस। ब्रिटिश ऐसे ऐसे रूल्स बना रहे थे कि इंडिया हमेशा लॉस ही सफर करता था। सो व्हाट वर द बैड ट्रेडिंग प्रैक्टिसेस दैट द ब्रिटिश वर conducting? So British followed some bad trading practices which made Indians suffer. So what kind of practices were those? First of all, the Indian farmers were forcefully they were producing. Means they were under pressure. They were forced to produce those crops that British demand. And what crops? Which crops were they? Those were the indigo and cotton. Because British used to earn more profits by using these crops as the raw materials. Okay, so the Indian farmers had to produce them for the British and sell them at a lower price. So already the Indian farmers were at loss. Now what happened? The British were using such funds, the amount earned from India, they were using for the development, for the industrial revolution in their own country, Britain. So the products produced there in Britain were of good quality, were of better quality as compared to that of India, and also it was cheaper. The prices were cheaper as compared to Indians. Why? Because Indian products were produced via hands. Okay, clothes were weaved or produced with the help of the hand looms. So the British quality were good and at cheap. So most of the Indians preferred the British products to purchase. So here the second instance of loss was suffered by the weaver and the producer of handloom industry. So what happened? This created the anger. Okay, this led to anger among the Indians को डिसकंटेंट फील होने लगा कि हमसे ये लोग जो प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं वो सस्ते में खरीदते हैं। Then they get it to their country, फिर वहाँ से ला, मतलब इंडिया को ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट भी उसके लिए पे करना पड़ता होगा ना, क्लियर? Then unjust loss. The laws made by Britishers ensured that Indians could not prosper and they were free and independent. मतलब इंडिया ब्रिटिश लोगों ने ऐसी तरह के लॉज बनाए हुए थे कि इंडिया का तो प्रोग्रेस होना ही छोड़ो मुश्किल था, बट इंडिया एक फ्रीडम भरी लाइफ भी नहीं जी सकती। Now what are such kind of laws? See, if a king died without a kid, so whole his empire would be owned by the British. अगर कोई भी राजा की डेथ हो जाती है और उसका कोई संतान नहीं है, उसका कोई बेटा नहीं है उसके आगे जो एम्पायर संभाल सके, तो उसकी जो जितनी भी प्रॉपर्टी है वो ब्रिटिश की हो जाएगी. This way British has started controlling over Indians, which led to anger against the British. Now the previously we have discussed about the bad trading practices and the unjust laws. Now here what happens? See, the anger and frustration against the British grew so much that Indian soldiers started revolting against them. अभी soldiers का क्या मोटो था revolting का? So what happened actually? There was a rumor. एक अफवाह किसने फैलाई थी कि the rifle they were using the new rifle for which they had to bite off the end of the cartridge, and though that cartridge of the gun was greased with the fat of cow and pigs. This was a rumor. So to Hindus, cows are sacred. हम cow की तो पूजा करते हैं ना. And for the Muslims, the pig is considered as unclean. Muslims के लिए pig खराब है. मतलब Hindus and Muslims both were getting much angry of the British. So they started revolting against the British. And what happened? Mangal Pandey on 29th March 1857, Mangal Pandey attacked an officer in Calcutta. Then for which he had to be hanged. So as a consequence of the hanging of a brave Indian soldier as Mangal Pandey, a revolt against the British rule started on 10th May 1857. ओके, तो जो ये इंसिडेंट हुआ था मंगल पांडे ने जो अटैक किया था कोलकाता में, उसके कारण उसे फांसी की सजा सुनाई गई. He accepted it, he was hanged also, और उसके कारण लोग और ज़्यादा भड़के, इंडियन पीपल और ज़्यादा एंगर्ड हो गए, and this led to the revolt यानी लड़ाई against the British, which was started on 10th May 1857. And which leaders are involved in this revolt? Tatya Tope, Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmibai, Liaquat Ali, and many others. Okay, so these are some of the leaders who were involved in such revolt of 1857. Though the revolt was not won by India, but it has alarmed the British. उनको warning मिल गई कि अभी इंडिया कभी भी शांत बैठने वाला नहीं है. So we should be careful, more careful. Though the revolt wasn't won by the Indians, but it alarmed the British. It made Indians realize the injustice done by the British. और Indians में awareness create हो गई कि British ने हमारे साथ क्या क्या किया है, कितना खराब किया है. They understood the power of unity and the beauty of freedom and independence. कि हमें अगर freedom और independence मिल जाए तो हम कितना कुछ एंजॉय कर सकते हैं. अगर हम ब्रिटिश राज चलने देंगे तो they could not enjoy their freedom and independence. And British had also got an alarm that India will not be in our control for more time. So East India Company has ended and they had also appointed viceroy. So students, here I am going to share a short video from the extra maths for your deep understanding. Go through it.
Social Science, the British Raj and the Revolt of 1857. Over the last 1000 years or so, India has seen many different rulers and regimes. Today, we will focus on a very important period of Indian history, the British Raj and the Revolt of 1857. More than 500 years ago, India was a rich country, the Sone ki Chidiya. We were famous for our exquisite spices, beautiful silk, gold, and pearls. During these prosperous times, India traded with Arab and European traders. At the end of the 15th century, a Portuguese navigator, Vasco da Gama, landed at Calicut in Kerala. He came to India from Portuguese by going around Africa. Soon the Dutch, French, and British started trading with India. However, each wanted a monopoly over this trade. As a result, they started fighting among themselves. Finally, the British defeated the others. In the year 1600, the British formed the East India Company. They made trading centers in India and traded mainly in spices and textiles. What were the other names for East India Company? East India Trading Company, English East India Company, British East India Company. British came to India during the reign of Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Around 250 years ago, the strong Mughal Empire of India started declining. There was constant fighting among kingdoms. The British took advantage of the constant fighting and started increasing their control over India. Do you know who was the Emperor of India when the British first came to the Indian subcontinent as traders? The British set up storehouses, or in their words, godowns, to store goods that were shipped to Britain. The protection of these godowns served as a good excuse to build forts and maintain armies at such centers. Some kings and Nawabs did not like this increasing control of British over their territories. The results were obvious: wars. The first major battle won by the British was the Battle of Plassey in 1757. In this famous battle, Lord Robert Clive defeated the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah. From this point on, the British control over India increased with each passing year. Indian farmers were made to grow indigo and cotton. The British bought these raw materials from the Indian farmers at very low prices. As a result, the Indian farmers suffered. This was the era of Industrial Revolution. Britain was prospering and growing more powerful. Raw materials from India, cotton and indigo, were shipped to Britain and used in British mills to make cloth. This cloth was then sold in India. The result was that the Indian handloom industry and artisans suffered badly. This trading equation made sure that Indians suffered from both sides as producers and consumers both. The only entity benefiting in this was the British Empire. As if the monopoly over trade and unethical business practices were not enough, the British made laws that were outrightly unjust. One such law said that if an Indian ruler dies without a child, then his kingdom would automatically be taken over by the British. These laws made sure that, from farmers to workers to kings, no Indian could prosper and lead a free, independent life. There is a threshold for everything, and by 1857, the hospitality with which Indians had once welcomed the British traders gave way to frustration and anger. In order to load a cartridge into Lee-Enfield rifle, the soldiers were required to bite off the ends of the cartridge. These cartridges were rumored to have been greased with the fat of cows and pigs. The soldiers refused to use these cartridges. The consequences were dire. The soldiers were threatened and forced to use the cartridges. The anger and frustration against British grew so much that the Indian soldiers revolted against their British officers. They became united as Indians and forgot all about being Hindus or Muslims. On 29th of March 1857, Mangal Pandey, an Indian soldier in the British Army, attacked a British soldier. The brave soldier was hanged on 8th April 1857. The hanging of Mangal Pandey added fuel to the fire. The revolt against the British rule spread, and on 10th of May 1857, Indian soldiers in Meerut shot down their British officers and took over Meerut. From Meerut, these revolting soldiers marched to Delhi and persuaded the last Mughal emperor. Brave leaders like Tantia Tope. From Meerut, these revolting soldiers marched to Delhi and persuaded the last Mughal emperor. Brave leaders like Tantia Tope. From Meerut, these revolting soldiers marched to Delhi and persuaded the last Mughal emperor. Brave leaders like Tantia Tope, Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and Liaquat Ali led the revolt in different parts of India. From Meerut, these revolting soldiers marched to Delhi and persuaded the last Mughal emperor. Brave leaders like Tantia Tope, Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and Liaquat Ali led the revolt in different parts of India. However, the British had great military strength and superior weapons. Many Indians were on the side of the British. The First War of Independence was finally crushed. The revolt of 1857 alarmed the British, and they decided to take India under direct control. The Crown Rule or the British Raj was instituted in 1858. The rule of the British East India Company was transferred to the Crown in the person of Queen Victoria, who in 1876 was proclaimed Empress of India. Did you know? While it was the first war of independence for Indians, British colonizers considered it as the Mutiny of Sepoys. Though the revolt of 1857 failed, but it made Indians realize the injustice of the British, the power of unity. The journey had begun, and the next 100 years saw the decline of the British Raj and the rise of the independence movement. Today, we went over a very important period of Indian history. Keep reading and learning until we meet again. Thank you. A presentation by Extra Marks.
So students, I hope that you have enjoyed the video and you have understood the chapter very well. Now complete your writing work and get ready for the exam. Okay, so we will meet in the next session with the new chapter. Till that, bye bye and have a happy learning. Thank you for watching the video to the end.